player in Europe, and then he'll have a little bit of a slump for a while, but I think he's on the upswing right now. I've seen him really impressive recently.
I dare to say that he's on his prime at this point.
Yeah.
Like, even though it fluctuates, I agree with you. Gracias, Rolf. Lo aprecio mucho. Even though I agree with you on that front, I do believe that Siski is playing better than ever, and we'll hopefully get to enjoy this. This is game number 1. We have Carmelo San versus El Siski, El Bola, and right off the bat,
Bola.
Both of them just going hard at each other, knowing that the distance is that personal space is really a non-factor in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm liking the approaches that Siski has been going for over these walls, using a little bit of movement with the bombs, wiggling back and forth, making sure that it's not quite as predictable as Carmelo would like it to be, but we've seen a bit of over-aggression onto this minecart a couple times, going for something that doesn't work out, but oh, great evasion there, just go straight above the ledge. And Siski was not ready, although this time the Axe King is here, cutting down your minecarts. Oh, but man,
ouch.
Right back answers Carmelo's.
Great stuff. Also catching Siski off guard with that explosion. Immediately gets ran over, but it's not an issue. Siski stays alive. The heavy armor, the power suit rather, does allow Samus to stay alive for just a little bit longer. Charge Shot goes out in 2 forms, in supercharged mode, and the little bola to just make sure, la pequeña bola, just to make sure, to make sure that damage was dealt. And great stuff. That was actually a very good first stock from Siski, and this time, oh, I thought the block was gonna save him.
Untechable, still kills you off the left side. That's a powerful forward smash right there. Yeah, so against Steve, there's like a couple ways that you can go about playing against him. Some characters, they have like the luxury where they can kind of brush him down and force him to not be able to have enough resources.
Yeah.
And other characters, you know, they just don't quite have that speed, and they're forced to fight him with everything. And Samus, definitely a character that is like, all right, you know, I can't force him down. I have to fight him with everything. So eventually, you know, Steve is going to get the diamond. Steve is going to get the gold. He's going to have all of these powerful blocks. But Samus has tools to deal with it.
Yeah, definitely.
Seeing that.
I'm recalling the Sair, the tether in the air, just to make sure that if there's an opening between the blocks, Siski will take advantage of that situation. Beautiful charge shot just to get rid of the minecart in this case. Lovely footstool down there from Carmelo, making sure that the amble gets as much damage as possible. Siski still survives, and hopefully he can use this rage before Carmelo takes this stock. Otherwise, it won't be pretty for this Spaniard.
Yeah, it's interesting. We saw earlier Siski going for the Nair on shield, and normally it's relatively safe. He would go Nair into up B, but that time Carmelo actually saved the footstool anvil for that exact situation. The next time Siski went for it, he was ready with the anvil, and now the up tilt is just a hair's breadth off. And we actually see low resources here, sir.
Yeah, it's something that Siski is doing a really good job at, just forcing Carmelo to not feel comfortable, or at least not find shelter. This diamond gonna do it. It's super close, actually. That's very high percent already. It is the right tool as well. I think it just broke. No, it's still there.
Yeah, so the shovel is broken.
It was broken,
on FT, you mine with the shovel, which is not used for anything else.
Yep. So that will ensure a little bit more of the durability of the pickaxe as well. So interesting here situation where Siski finds himself in final destination for this first game. I did enjoy the fact that Siski felt comfortable enough to just throw those up tilts to try to challenge the minecart, but for the most part, it didn't work out as intended.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because a lot of times it felt like Siski was going for the correct counterplay. Like he was preempting the minecarts a lot. He was forcing some bad situations for Carmelo, but it seemed like he was just like a little bit off on decision making. Like some of the moves don't actually beat out the minecart, and that means you end up, you know, taking a big hit from a minecart when you really should have, like, you predicted it, you were in the right position, and you just called it out, but with the wrong move.
Definitely. So you got to be super mindful, especially now where Siski is trying to break that distance, or at least put a preemptive hitbox that allows him to find some ground control, which is not the case until he finds that grab. Love to see just how respectful Siski has been of the minecart. He has to be at some point, but he's also ready to challenge it whenever a charge shot is ready.
Yeah, Carmelo getting screwed over a little bit by that block grid, went for an up tilt into
That was a power
Nil
move.
2. Yeah, exactly.
That was a power move. Just point blank shielding and parrying the charge shot. That's just Carmelo thinking he's got this, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, still though, Siski has been using these back airs a little bit more to try to beat out the minecart. That time it works out. Siski has to go back to the stage and able to roll out in time. Hold on a sec, Siski. Oh, the crafting table stopped the combo.
Probably,
Without
actually,
that,
yeah.
I think it works.
Definitely.
Parry on Nair. Tough.
Yeah, once again, those parries have been extremely nice, and Siski fights back with one of his own, just leading into a screw attack. But again, these blocks, the ground blocks, don't pose a big threat for Siski. He can just sair around them or maybe even charge shot above them. So it's still interesting to see how he's dealing with this wall, literal and figuratively as well, because Carmelo's ready to catch his jump with back airs every time.
Yeah, Carmelo has been really good at just baiting out Siski to try to go for aggressive options and just being like, okay, I have big move. My big move beats your big move. Throwing out that pickaxe, getting a ton of damage out.
So far, things are not looking pretty. Missiles to try to break those walls while Carmelo feels comfortable enough to just sit on the corner. Beautiful grab. That's going to lead into good damage. At least a nice startup from Siski, who tries out of shield. The up B fails, or at least doesn't connect, and that seems to be a scary scenario to be in at this point. Nice.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of times you beating out the minecart with just that charge shot, but at the same time, it's like, okay, you beat out the minecart, but it doesn't even hit Carmelo.
Yeah.
So you use all this resource, time to charge up the charge shot. You beat out the minecart, and then it's just like, okay,
and he can do it again.
He can do it again immediately the moment you break it.
I mean, to be fair, it does spend Carmelo's resources, but hey, powering it back up, just making sure that it doesn't despawn just yet, and it gets an extra use. Again, just chipping away at the resources. Good trade. It goes on Siski's favor. He survives just by a smidget there, but not for too long. Carmelo fights back, and we're going into a situation where there's even stocks on this second game.
Yeah, nice work there from Siski to be able to keep this even despite the early lead for Carmelo. And yeah, it's just one of those things where it feels like an inevitability that Siski's going to get hit with an up tilt, right? Like,
yeah,
he gets hit with an up tilt, he takes, 70% for it, and it just seems inevitable. But at the same time, like, you still have to just fight through that. Like, you have to understand that that's, all right, that's a fact of life while fighting Steve. If you can avoid it, great. But if not, you have to do the same thing to him. You have to similarly play with your advantage. But yeah, all right. Even messes up a little bit there and gets all the way to 63%. So still big damage onto Siski.
Yeah, also I've been noticing that Siski felt trigger happy on the up Bs out of shield. Initially, they weren't getting punished, and that's why he felt comfortable to just keep at it. And eventually, Carmelo found a way to punish that. So it puts a dent on Siski's attempts to try to punish out of shield, at least to some degree, now that we are on a last hit situation, because right now, Siski feels really damaged. And with Diamond Tools, super scary. He could still bring this back, but he needs to be precise. He needs to be lethal at this point.
Yeah, a couple little bolas shooting out at Carmelo, who feels like they're playing a little bit passive now. And okay, I had no idea who the red screen was for. I was like, is that a minecart kill screen?
Who wins?
Like, who wins? And apparently it was Samus Nair killing from center stage at 100, like the right side of the stage at 100%. Like, good, definitely good for him, but I was just surprised.
The Schrodinger stock, really, you don't know who's gonna take it until game comes out, or at least the knockback gets set for either of them. Great stuff. I love the. Así nos dio un infartito, nos dio un infartito. A bit of a small heart attack for us Spanish speakers and everybody here at the venue as well, who's just as excited to be here at Port Priority 9. We're celebrating like it's the 90s, and we're having so much fun while at it. Game number 3, we're going into town and city, so that means that we still have a lot of playgrounds, the ground to play around, but also keep in mind those blast zones seem a little narrow on the sides.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that's gonna be really good for our Steve player. He's gonna be able to get some early back air kills, and there's the classic, starting off the stock, you get up tilted. All right, 70%, here you go. Doesn't matter what tool he has, it eventually works out. And Siski, though,
good shot.
He's been shooting well. I think his hit rate's pretty high.
Yeah, at this point he has to aim for the head, otherwise just the card gets hit, and Siski is recognizing this, so he'll probably be jumping a little higher next time. There you go, aiming a little higher just to try to get the headshot, but unfortunately not being able to get it there. That would have been game-changing this early on, but now that those tools are set and primed to get a stock, beautiful weave and bob. That's something that Siski is just a master about.
Yeah, I swear, every single time I'm like, oh, he missed the up B, he's going to die, and then he just like, fine, somehow just does not get hit at all. It's wild. Siski is just a master of disguise with that Mighty Morphin ball. Nice pressure here for the back air, and 4 in a row is enough to catch out that jump minecart by Carmelo. He's been so expert at finding these kills, just interrupting the minecart startups, or just trying to evade him. I talked about earlier how he had been a little bit too aggressive, trying to fight out with forward airs, trying to, like, you know, disrupt the wrong way. But eventually, it seems like Siski has found his footing on this game. But Carmelo, he ran out of materials. He was beating Siski up too hard.
Luckily, though, because otherwise that would have translated into so much more damage. Siski just allowing that weapon to be crafted, the diamond tool as well, so that's gonna be scary. Love to see just how Carmelo feels in control, walling out Siski at this point and figuring out that punishment could come in those up Bs, finally catching him this time around.
Yeah, no mix is gonna save you there. Just the up B just hits right into the forward smash, but wrong direction on the power shot.
Nice.
And then charge shot, and not enough to get the job done. Now looking for a little bit more than Nair. Second hit beats it out, but the anvil jumped at a disadvantage. And there's so many things you have to worry about when fighting Steve. You always have to be on the lookout for that minecart and anvil.
All right, hold on though, hold on. This could be interesting. This could be scary. Charge shot to just try to force him to be defensive, at least grant Siski some time to react, or to recover rather. Things are looking really good at this point, making use of the rage that has been accumulating so far. Siski takes a beautiful back air to absolutely take that stock as well. Carmelo will be set into a bit of a ugly situation. He immediately fights back. This is last stock, game 3. That's scary, Jed.
Yeah, it is a tough spot to be in when you're on last stock against Steve. I feel like Steve always has a power-up. I swear, they all the Steves are just like have this clutch gene in them, and right now, he actually drops the combo a little bit. I think that might have been a block grid thing, but now Siski has opted for a little bit more defensive play, rolling past that, but finds the charge shot. The minecart protects Carmelo, but a roll behind. Oh my gosh, what evasion here from Carmelo.
That was so smart as well. Carmelo recognizing where aggression was coming from and reacting accordingly. Percentages are somewhat even. Siski finds a good opportunity to send Carmelo off stage once again. Charge shot has been spent. The grab misses barely, and that allows Carmelo to just slide about and forward smash Siski into oblivion. Game number 3 goes for the Japanese contender, and I agree, Siski feels a little bit of what's it called?
Grab happy?
I guess. I was gonna say more
antsy.
Angsty. Angsty is the word I was looking for. A little anxious about it. However, if he keeps composure, this could change for the better. The lights are off, so that means that we're going for the serious mode here at Port Priority 9.
Oh, does that mean the Lights Out podcast is here? Let's go. No, it's starting off really good here for Siski, just getting that good pressure in the corner, and just this control that Siski is, I feel like, renowned for, putting your opponent in disadvantage and making some like, you know, ledge trap scenario happen. That's always been Siski's strong suit, but once again, all of that work compared to a singular up tilt from Carmelo.
Yeah, it's kind of rough. Siski trying to break that wall, knowing that he has to keep on pushing. Yoink! Just pulling him through, almost catching that decision there, trying to keep on extending the damage. Love the pivot tilt just to try to break the wall. Siski needs to be mindful of his next move, otherwise he could put himself in a very rough situation. Carmelo is fishing for something.
Yeah, a B gets out of there. Now another setup here for Carmelo. Evens it right back up with that up air. Now with a back air, barely living here for Siski. Such a tough position to be in the corner versus Carmelo Steve. But now, once again, just using that little bola to save him. And the up smash is too good. Shields out that back air, and Carmelo with a pretty sizable lead now.
Yeah, absolutely. Love the way that Siski tried to challenge Carmelo's approach options with La Bolita, the little ball, but still not looking pretty good right now. We are under 100%. Diamond is on the inventory, rather, so that's a scary scenario for Siski, who eats an anvil and still struggles to get that first stock off Carmelo.
Yeah, it is a tough position to be in now that Siski is just behind the stock, behind a game, and Carmelo is building up these resources. He's getting picked up once again with these up tilts, and this is exactly what Carmelo wants. Another situation where an up tilt will lead into a kill, and I mean, Carmelo is running away with this one at this point. So much work has been put in for Siski, but now it's just pretty much all for naught.
Yeah, I'm not liking Siski's body language at this point. He is all smushed in his chair. He's reacting to what he considers to be unfair to some degree. The tools that Steve has at this point are just so good to deal with what Samus is offering. Point blank charge shot, and he just shakes his head. No, he knows that that was a little unfair for Samus, but he needs to stay alive. He needs to keep that motivation. He could still bring it back, but he needs a power move in order for that to happen.
Yeah, and a dash attack through. Siski is slowly trying to find his footing, but like, look at these kill moves that are being thrown out left and right. Back air, anvil, minecart, all of these are just a death sentence if Siski gets hit by one of them. Even these up tilts are almost killing.
Has to be super scary. There you go, catching Carmelo with the back air. He's not too far behind. With this amount of rage, he could definitely start something up, trying to rack up damage quickly. He does with a triple up air and an up B. At least it's a good start. It's not over yet. Esto todavía no se acaba.
Okay, but huge damage now with that 65% off of the charge shot and an up tilt. No way, no way. Oh my God. Reverse 3-stock for Siski after looking completely crushed. You saw in that player cam, he was out of it. He had counted himself out, but it is not going to matter. Vamos, Siski. Oh my God, ale.
People in chat going like, una polla, and
exactly.
I agree. And I agree.
I was like, oh, it's over. I was like, there's no way he's coming back into this. But this time, day, Siski has made this reverse 3-stock, and maybe that gives him the energy he needs for the final Game 5 decider. Vamos! Indeed.
All right, okay. This is it, do or die. Game 5, Carmelo versus Siski. Siski found a reinvigorating situation where his energy has to be injected back into his body. We're going into small battlefield, so that means there's not going to be a lot of room to escape. So Siski maybe needs to keep it hyper aggressive, more aggressive at least, more boxy, I'd say. Of course, being careful not to fall victim of overextending or overshooting anything.
Yeah, and look at this full resource bar for Steve. Siski took so long to break through all of those walls, but it's the thing that matters most is this percent. 63%, that is approximately equal to a singular up tilt combo for Carmelo. So, but he didn't get it from the ground. That time it was an up air starter. So it's actually a little bit less damage, meaning that, you know, we're still even. We're still even. And that's what you got to do. Like, if you're going to play against Steve, you got to know that he's going to hit you. He's going to deal 1,000,000 damage.
Yeah.
So you got to beat him that many more times.
I agree with you. I think it's part of the process. It's part of the game plan. You have to take into consideration the damage that you will be dealt. Love the way that Siski just capitalizes off one grab, breaking that tool as well and dealing with the pressure that the anvil puts out. Siski feels actually quite insane at this point. He's reading every single option, aggressive option, that Carmelo is throwing at him.
Man, and Siski now gets hit with this minecart, so all of this aggression for Carmelo has paid off. Oh, the nether minecart just sets up perfectly, and Carmelo had the diamond in the back pocket, able to recraft everything back up. Now, once again, the onus is on Siski to make something happen. Going for an up tilt, trying to catch a jump out of shield, but a perfect punish here for Carmelo, 66%. Now Siski in a dangerous position between these two blocks, but the up B from beneath,
It's a lot of damage. Es mucho daño. Charge shot just barely flying by, buzzing by Carmelo's blocky ear. That's gotta be scary, especially now that he has to recover, and it might be a dangerous situation where those back airs certainly pose a huge threat to the Spaniard, who's struggling so much to get this first stock and already very close to losing his second one.
I thought that might have killed at that point with all of the rage. Able to beat out all of this. The final hit of that diamond pickaxe means that Siski will be on his final stock, potentially, but a dash attack through. We saw him with the reverse 3-stock last time. Can he pull it off once again? Is the magic still here for this bola?
All right, things are super scary at this point. Siski has a good opportunity here, especially at low percentages, trying to read every single defensive and panic option from Carmelo. That shield is super low. Luckily, it wasn't as bad, but he's still not out of the woodworks. Siski still suffers a lot of damage off of that golden tools.
Yeah, gold opens up a lot of different combo routes.
See.
Okay, so he took his punishment at the start of the stack. That's how it works. You start the stock, you're gonna take a punishment. Let's see now what he can do after that. Oh, Carmelo goes a little bit too aggressive with his Elytra. And another back air, though. Great turnaround here, the MBC.
That was super scary. Not gonna lie, Carmelo's trying to fish for the minecart finisher. The golden tools are still on deck. Tools, resources are pretty low. Won't take the stock anymore. And Siski's struggling at this point, getting caught in the anvil, and that will be it. Carmelo pops off. They get the handshake, and unfortunately, Siski will keep on moving. I do believe this was winners.
This is winners.
So Siski still has an opportunity.
Don't worry.
Ostión, no pasa nada, hermanos. Tranquilos. Todavía hay posibilidad. There's still a chance for Siski to come back in this bracket. That was such a fun set, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Siski gave you a bit of hopium there in that game 4. That was a crazy comeback. Just everything went right in a row. But unfortunately, that's not gonna be happening. So Siski is gonna move on to losers bracket. There's still a lot of a lot of chances there, though.
Who we got coming up soon?
Siski has to fight JDV and losers. That's gonna be
fun.
That'll be a long set.
JDV is Pac-Man, right?
Pac-Man from the PNW. JDV is just like one of those people who, at the pre-local, will be a top 10 player. It's just guaranteed.
For sure.
You see JDV fight a top 10 player at the pre-local, you might as well bet on him. Like, it's happening every time. And then, in the big tournament, when it comes to it, there's also a lot of chances there to make something happen.